And now for something completely different.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Strap yourself in.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Right, Chris. All right, good evening. How the devil are we all? Welcome along, Leicester Till I Die. This is what you are watching on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you are listening to us, if you are listening to us on your favourite podcast platform, thank you so much for lending me your ears. I apologise for starting late, but I was just invited onto a Southampton channel, and do you know what? I couldn't resist. I don't know exactly who was crying more, them or us. I mean, a 6-pointer tomorrow or what? Are we worried? I tell you what, to be honest with you, I am. I really am worried. Mike, good evening, Mike. How are you? Welcome along. Thank you for popping in. Let's just bring these up here. Here we go. These are the details for the upcoming match. I don't know who was actually more worried, them or us. I was going to type out a thing. Now, look, let me ask you this. If we don't win on Saturday night, does Rodgers got to go before the end of the season? Because, to be honest with you, I think he has. I mean, the other night against Blackburn, look, I like Amati, you know, I'm a big fan of his, and he was my most improved player, and we would have been stuck without him these last few months. But he had a mare. He had a total mare the other night, and Rodgers made 5 substitutions, but he kept Amati on. Luke Thomas, he made the mistake for the second goal. Yes, he went. I know, Nate, I should, but I'm just see. I'll do one on Twitter later, because I'm a bit behind because I went onto the channel, the Southampton channel. It's kind of thrown me out a little bit, but to be honest with you, yeah, you know, I wanted to just go on and predict a score. I don't think it's going to be 9-0 tomorrow. But, you know, he recognised that Luke Rodgers was poor and he took him off. And again, I'm not having to go at Luke Rodgers because, you know, we'd have been stuck without him as well. And, you know, for his age, he's not a bad player. But he made the mistake that led to the second goal. Rodgers took him off. Why Amati? We had Suter on the bench. God. And yeah, I mean, Mella's in. Good evening, Mella. How are you? Long time no see. Welcome along. It has been a while. How is the coursework going? I know you are having to study a lot for your coursework. Yes, I mean, I like Hamza. He's done nothing wrong, but I don't think he's in our thoughts at the moment. I tell you what, we'll let you keep him if you take Yannick Vestergaard off us and Brendan Rodgers off us. Is that a deal? Richard's in. Richard, what happened? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day. I mean, I had Paul Ross on. I did a show with Paul Ross last night, the Conversation series, and he is a huge, the brother of Jonathan Ross, of course, the ITV presenter. Paul Ross, he's done ITV, BBC, Big Breakfast, The Word. Do you remember The Word? Bloody hell. Talking to him about The Word. Do go and check it out. It is still on Leicester Till I Die TV. There we go, Paul Ross. He's a huge West Ham fan. Well, so he's going to be, and all he was just doing that. At the end, he actually went, "Up the Hammers." I went, "Fuck off." So, bless him. That lovely, lovely guy. Do go and check that out. I know Richard's son, Jake, and thank him for me, Richard, and a few of the West Ham channels did sort of put it out there for me. So I thank them for that. But I hope you are well, Richard. But I'll tell you really what happened. The main problem, it's obvious, I know, BR cannot communicate well enough with the squad. Something is not right. Something is not right. Mella, I want Brendan Rodgers to return to Watford. Slaven Bilic is honestly nice. And yet Slaven Bilic, funnily enough, talking West Ham, did very well. We listened to his show last night while stuck in traffic. Well, good God, because he does the graveyard shift. Hey, so you must have been stuck. I think your defenders were stuck in mud. I saw you were 1-0 up, and I thought, my God, they're going through. Which I wasn't too, but I was quite happy because obviously that would have kept you occupied with the games. And you lost 3-1. I kind of don't know what happened. I don't know. But honestly, we the first half of the show we did talk about his career. Like I say, if those of us at a certain age, and I know you are, Richard, you will remember The Word, and you'll probably also remember the Big Breakfast on Channel 4, the best breakfast show there's ever been, and he was on that as well. We talked all of that. He's worked with Anton Deck, and the second half of the show we talked Leicester and we talked West Ham. And he said he's going to come back on towards the end of the season because, of course, we've got West Ham as our last game. But hell, yeah. I wish Leicester could find a place for Hamza. I'm glad to see he's playing well. Problem is we've already got Samari, Ndidi, and Mendy. Mendy looks like he's going to go at the end of the season. I hope he doesn't because he's my favourite out of the three. So we just haven't got room for Hamza, unfortunately. But I like Hamza, and I think he was harsh done do. But then we've said that so many times again about players at Leicester recently, haven't we? Yes, you did. Antonio missed a few sitters. I've been looking at it. Excuse me. I just saw. I've not seen the whole match. Just seen a few highlights, and I think Antonio wasn't that a Brotherhood of Man song or an ABBA song? Can you hear the drums, Antonio? Anyway, sorry. But yeah, he I was actually talking to Southampton because we were joking about Vestergaard and Bertrand and what have you, and you know, I don't know if you've read that interview that Vestergaard has given, but Brendan Rodgers pursued Vestergaard for 18 months. And like he said, he knew what I was capable of. He knew my style of play. And now I don't even I'm not even on the bench. And he's got a really good point. Love him or don't like him, Vestergaard, he's got an excellent point. Exactly. That's the thing. Oh, he didn't play at all. He did not play at all. But this is Rodgers. Chases a player for 18 months, never plays him. Oh, he's not the sort of, he doesn't play to the style I want. No shit, Sherlock. Well, you should have, maybe you should have bought a player that you did want. Mila said, Kieran Dewsbury Hall and Hamza Chowdhury are so good. I wish him all the best. I do. I wish Hamza all the best. And if that's at Watford, mate, then fingers crossed for you. I hope he does well for you. One of my favourite biscuits there, Jerry. Confident for the game this Saturday in the away end. Going to be class. Sing your heads out for the lads. I take it you're a Leicester fan, are you? I couldn't get a ticket. I was there for the 9-0 though. It will never get any better than that, will it? Okay to have a player attitude that has heart, aggression and passion. Not much to ask. Jerry says, I think we're underestimating our new best starting 11. We were great against Villa and Tottenham. Arsenal are tough, and Blackburn, we played our second defence that was just shocking. Like I said at the front, at the start of the show, changes should have been made there on players that were there for the full 90 minutes. Mike Davis, out in the cold after BR chased him down. Yeah, I don't. This is what I don't get about him. Like say with Hamza Chowdhury, Hamza, you played so. Were you man of the match that game against Liverpool? They couldn't get past you. You would not be passed, and yet, there's all the smoke up his arse afterwards from Rodgers, and then we never saw him play again. It's Brendan bullshit, isn't he? He's just so full of it. We won't lose this. First game of the season, I believe it was, when we played them. To be honest with you, I can't see the profile pic, mate. I do apologise, which is why I asked. It's very, very small, and I need to go to Specsavers. But nice one, mate. Welcome along. Glad to have you. We brought on Victor and Kel. We look like another team. I know Christensen is brilliant. He's so confident going forward. But you put your best starting 11 on at the start, and if you're worried about them getting knackered, get a lead, then take them off. Craig's in. I think Craig went the other night. Did you go the other night, Craig? Yes, he did. So I can have a moan at him in a second. He's gone. Oh, no, he hasn't. Nate, could be a blessing in disguise. No cup games to worry about. We can concentrate on the league, they say. I see, yeah, but if Hamza comes back, who are you going to drop? I'm guessing we're talking probably Mendy. And I don't think you can drop Mendy. David is in. Hi, guys. Leicester to win this. Mella says 2 million is a fair valuation. To be totally honest with you, we'll probably let him run his contract down and let him go for free. That's what we seem pretty good at doing. Guys, the ladies have been screaming for him. They're saying, where is our blue rinse Totty? Well, let me tell you, he has been spending a couple of weeks watching Nottingham Forest, and I've used that joke before, but I'm so proud of it, I'm going to use it again. But he is back, ladies. You can cross your legs again. Here he is. This is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. It's my white old owl. It's great. Good evening, sir. How the devil are you?
I'm good, thanks, Chris. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everyone. How you're doing? It's nice to see that we did get the memo about the check shirts. That was good. Yes. But I find it it's kind of ironic that you've started with a weakened team at the start of the show, and now you've brought on the big guns.
He's not put that much weight on. Don't put yourself down. Nice to have you back, sir.
Yeah, nice to be back, Chris. Nice to be back. I've missed all your fun and your rantings over the past couple of games that we've had.
I will be making up for that. Do not worry.
I'm sure you will.
I haven't done anything that I planned to do because I got invited onto a Southampton channel right at 5 to 9. and I couldn't resist, to be honest with you. I mean, there's not many teams that are worse than us at the moment. So to go on, and we wiped each other's tears away.
Excellent, and very wise and quite ironic to go on at 9.
Yes, I thought so. I missed that opportunity there. I did put. He was asking score prediction, so I'll let you guess what I put in, which is why he asked me on. Look, let's just talk about the other night, because I just do not know what to make with Brendan Rodgers. I mean, I've literally, like I say, I've built a gate in the fence because I'm fed up with climbing over it and back over it. It's just easy to go through the fence. If we lose against Southampton, which we have done once already this season, he's got to go, hasn't he?
I can't remember how many times you've asked me this question this season.
I know, and I will keep asking you until. But this is the thing. It's almost like he's got a charmed life, because he goes and then he'll win a couple, and then we'll get all excited, and we'll think, oh, actually, it was only Southampton. No disrespect to them.
I don't know. I don't know the mindset of whether they're going to pull the plug until it looks like that we're really, really in it. But I don't think this game will help if we lose it. That's for sure. I think it was the closest I've been. I think after that Blackburn game, watching that game, sitting there watching it. And I've been I think I've been fairly supportive of Brendan, but my patience,
more than I have.
My patience is wearing thin, I think. And a lot of it is because we just hear the same thing, and at the end of it, and I know there's an argument to be said, it's down to the players. It is down to the players, but if it was just the players, then we could all be the manager, and you'd pick the team and you'd put them out there. Yeah. My biggest issue that I'm seeing at the minute, and it's something that I think I've criticised our team for under Brendan for a long time, is that lack of fight, that lack of spirit, that lack of grit, determination, that when you're not playing well, you can roll your sleeves up and try and grind out a result. And I don't see that in us. And I know somebody had put something on about on Facebook, I think, about Graham Potter, and I'd commented. I saw that you
did. No, I put it up. It was a link from Indy Keller, who's not exactly the most reliable source, but apparently, it made me titter.
Yeah, well, apparently someone else sent me a link that Indy Keller put up the night before, which was that many of the backroom, the squad, are falling out with Rodgers, and they want him out and Jamie Vardy to be manager for the end of the season.
I saw that one, but I thought that was just taking it a little bit too far. I couldn't put that one up.
But my worry is that even there, Potter is very much in the same mould. And I do think that teams reflect their managers these days more than ever. Arteta, Guardiola, Klopp when things were going really well, Ten Hag at Man United. These are managers that won't allow standards to drop, whereas ours seem to be accepted, and then you just get the same old comments afterwards saying we didn't start the game the way that we wanted to, and I was disappointed. And I don't know how many times you can come out and say the same thing when it's your team that you're putting out. So something's wrong, and allied to that is the fact that our under-21s and our under-18s are both bottom of their leagues and likely to get relegated. Now, if you've spent 100 million on a training ground to bring through and develop players, and not only is your first team struggling at the bottom end of the Premier League, but also your under-18s and your under-21s look like they're getting relegated as well, something's not right. And if I was at the top of the club, I'd be looking at some sort of more far-reaching issues that are going on there.
How are the women doing?
Yeah, well,
I mean, what gets me is that he comes out and he basically spouts so much bullshit. He's saying, "Oh, we're going to take this seriously. We're going to," and you're up against a team that's fourth in the Championship, so that puts them probably on a par with an Everton, a Leeds. So that sort of equivalent. And then you put out a weak. It's hard to say a weakened team. Look, I want to talk Amati because I like Amati. He was my most improved player. I get fed up with saying that last season, but he was having a nightmare from what I could see. You were there. You might say different, but he gave away the first goal. He didn't get better than that. And yet he stayed on the pitch for 96 minutes. And yet Luke Thomas, he made the mistake for the second because I don't think he was concentrating. And he took him off. But how did, he got Harry Souttar sat on the bench. Do you not, two questions for you here. Do you just not start with your strongest team when you get into the lead, maybe take them off to give them a rest if you've got another game coming up quite quickly? And B, why was Amati not taken off if he was so bad when we got Souttar sat on the bench?
Yes, in answer to the first one, I'm of that opinion that you try and get the game won or you put yourself in a winning position. Particularly when you know what's at stake. This is the last 8 of the FA Cup. You're one game, you win this, you're one game away from at least a Wembley visit and giving your fans something to look forward to, and the only piece of silverware that we're going to get anywhere near, maybe this season, maybe for a few seasons to come. I don't know. Daniel Amati did not have his finest night, and I think that is I think that's pretty obvious. For me, it's like players not taking responsibility on the pitch. He knew that that ball was never on that he played into there. I would give him some credit with the fact that there was no one in front of him making any movement. It was absolutely shocking watching the lack of movement. It was like they were playing red light, green light from Squid Game, to be honest. And as soon as someone had the ball, no one could move. But he could have gone back. He could have just played it down the line, but that would have been greeted with an aimless, boot and just booting it. But really, I don't know what the thinking was. Clearly he was once he'd done that, I don't think he really recovered and was a little bit at fault for the second goal as well. And to be honest, they could have had 3 or 4 in that 10-minute period in the second half. And we, as bad as we were, let's give credit to Blackburn as well. They were very good. They knocked the ball around. They came with a plan. They were confident, knocked the ball around and played in little triangles, exactly the way that we spout that we should be playing. They did it to us, and we just didn't have any. We didn't have the desire to try and do anything about it. It
comes back to this, the fact that we're supposed to have this fantastic British coach at our club. I mean, are they talking about the one with 6 wheels that's parked outside that takes the players to and from the matches? Because he was outthought by Arteta in his first season. He's been outthought. I mean, being outthought by Pep Guardiola, I get, but he's been outthought by Potter. He's been outthought by, Brighton's new manager. He was outthought by a guy who at Bournemouth wasn't even a bloody manager. Outthought him, and he was now beaten by one of the youngest managers going, who's got very little experience. The guy's a fraud, isn't he? It's as simple as that.
I'd say that's a little bit strong because, he did get us to 5th twice when, yes, we know we should have got 4th on both of those occasions, but he did get us there and he did win the FA Cup. So to say he's a total fraud, I think is a little bit far, but I think managers and teams are cyclical. And you either have you change the whole team or you change the manager. I don't think we're in a position where we can change the whole team, even though we're going to be forced to change our midfield during the summer. But I'm not sure there's an appetite to continue down this path when you see some of the more younger, vibrant managers that are coming in and that are out there, ones who demand more of their players. I think, Rodgers says he demands more of the players, but I don't see it. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Nate Dolan, he was my overall man of the match. All I could see was on that first half, he was kept coming down that left-hand side, and Ricky looked really out of sorts. And again, he's not been back that long, but if we'd have won this, we'd have been in the quarter-finals, for God's sake, and we've had it against Forest last season. I really would love to go out and buy Dolan, to be honest with you. Erdeveza, good evening, sir. How are you? Welcome along. Thanks for popping in. Defenseless expert, says Mike.
I was going to say I was sat there next to Scott watching the game, and it's the first time that I said to Scott that this is an absolute shambles. And it looked it. It looked it for long periods out of the game. It was a shambles that they didn't know what they were doing at the back. I thought there were 2 or 3 players that did okay. I thought Fast did okay, but. I know Ricky P didn't have the greatest of time, but I thought he did okay, seeing he was coming back. But there wasn't many others who covered themselves in any glory. No. But it did look a shambles, and I will never, I hope I'm proven wrong, but no way is Samari a Premier League player. I just don't get. He's a sort of player who would probably look great at Man City, because they have a lot of possession and he can handball through the game and pick a pass. And when he gets it, he does look progressive. But in a team like ours, where you've got to work to get the ball back, he's just a liability. Sadly.
The only thing I could say with Samari is, and again, it's hard to see because I don't see the full pitch or anything on the screen, but he was picking some really good long passes out.
Yeah, as I say, he can do it. He can be progressive. It's out of possession that the problem is. That if you're playing in that position, you've got to have a bit more about you, and players run off the back of him without him reacting quickly enough. He doesn't have that awareness, and I think it comes of a player that when he was in France, a lot of the time, they were a team at the top, and he was facing the play most of the time. He was sitting deeper. He was facing the play. He was able to pick that. Once he's been asked to play in a bit more of an advanced position, you've got to be more. You've got to have more awareness of what's going on around you, and I don't think he's got it, sadly.
No, you're quite right. 2 last questions before we move on to Southampton. Can we now finally put the Everson instead of Ward quote to bed? Because he did okay, but again, he kicked the ball straight out to a player that was being marked and nearly lost it. He just seemed to be okay.
He made a very good save early on where he came out and spread himself and got a block where they should have scored. I think if he did dink the ball, he would have scored it. So he was decent from that point of view. He looked a little bit more comfortable. And his decision making looked better than Ward. Ward worries me when he decides to come out of and play a sweeper keeper. Yeah. But his positioning for the goal, the first goal, was very questionable. It looked like a goalkeeper that I was operating on a table football game, to be honest. And he was just stuck at one side. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. To be honest, I don't think either of them are of the standard. I think it's harsh on Everson because he's not had that many games at the top level. No. But I definitely, I think that as the season's unfolded, I don't think Ward is of the level that's needed of a top half or a team that's aiming to be in the top half of the Premier League.
How did the crowd react? I tried to listen at the end, but I think the Blackburn Rovers fans were making so much noise. I mean, it was far from a full house. Now, it was on telly, so whether that had something to do with it, and obviously people have got to watch the money these days. Was the booing at the end?
There was booing at the end, but I think I've heard worse, to be honest. I think the most frustrating thing was that once he'd made the changes and they decided to have a go, for 20 minutes, we just battered them. We just couldn't get the second goal, and that's the most frustrating thing, that there's a team there that can hold possession and can go at teams if the handbrake is released. And it just needs one or two players. Christensen comes on and his whole demeanor is, I want to play quick. He was running to take throw-ins. He wanted to get the ball quickly. He wanted to take quick free kicks. Everything that he wants to do is quick. And that's what this team needs to be able to do. When we're at our best, when we're playing quick. If we're playing slow, we're ponderous. We don't have that little burst of pace or speed to get away from anyone. So we have to move it quick. So it's just so frustrating at the moment.
Yeah. I just want to say that if you haven't yet, everybody, please do consider not only subscribing to the channel, but purchasing a membership as well. We used to have 3 levels: bronze, silver, and gold. I've basically, because of the financial crisis, I've got rid of the top 2. I've made it all into one now, just a Fox level, and it is the bronze price, whatever you do. And one of the things that you get is you get posts only on YouTube, or the posts that I put on YouTube are only going to members. And if you go on there, you will see Vardy's heat map from the Blackburn game, and it's awful. It's awful, to be honest with you. So if you do see that, like I say, but you'll only get to see that if you're a member for just $1.99 a month. Good value at half the price. Look, we're going to pick a team later, as you know. So I'm thinking Vardy.
I'm picking Arsenal.
I tell you what, I don't know how many Southampton. I'm going to have a talk with you about this later. But I was on an Arsenal, funny enough, chat the other week, and you've got the starting 11, and you've got to pick 5 Leicester players, and I had to pick 6 Arsenal players, and that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
That was quite a different take on it. I just want to just see if there's any comments that we've missed here. I was wondering that, David. I didn't know what Henry was saying there. I've got to be totally honest with you. Mr. Trick, cheaper prices for juniors, not the prices we wanted, very poor. I presume you're on about the club and not my membership prices, but who knows? Look, I just want to quickly go through some of the stats, and I'm gonna make it quick because, like I say, I was hoping to do this before you came in, but because I went onto the Southampton show at 9, like you say, it would have been rude me not to have done it. No sign of Stuart Atwell. I'm pleased to say, or Paul Tierney. We got Robert Jones in the middle and Tony Harrington on VAR. If I'm totally honest with you, I have no idea who either of those two players, two referees are. 33. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. 33 times we played each other, and I'm glad to say not many we can actually look at this and go, we've got more wins than the opposition. 13 for us, 9 for them, and 11 draws. So we are on the up. But these are our last 6 meetings, and unfortunately, we've played each other 6 times since the 9-0, so that doesn't show up any time. They beat us, like we say, at the start of the season. Do you remember that game when it was was it too hot for the players? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2-1 to Southampton. Obviously, it wasn't too hot for them. They bought the sun cream. But before that, in fairness, we'd beaten them 4-1, 2-2. But the last 6 games, we've won 3 of them. They've won 1, and we have drawn 2. And surprise, surprise there, they've also got 1 red card. Who would have thought that? This is our run going into it. Let me just make this a bit larger. I do need to get to Specsavers. Also, I've got to say, talking of Specsavers, I don't know if you saw it, but I did actually have an appointment last week at Specsavers, and it still makes me laugh no matter how much I do this. But I actually sat in Specsavers, and there was a bit of a queue. So I went onto Twitter and I put, sat in Specsavers awaiting my eye test. I hope I fail it, because if I fail it, it means I can become an EPL referee like I've always wanted to. And Specsavers, I didn't tag them in, Specsavers replied, best of luck. That was just brilliant by them. Absolutely brilliant. Southampton lost to Newcastle 2-1 with a player. Newcastle had a player sent off. So they couldn't even beat 10 men. They lost to Brentford. They lost to Southampton, but they beat Chelsea. Well, we got them next week, haven't we? They lost to Leeds and they lost, obviously, last night to Grimsby. I did ask them what the smell of fish was, but it didn't go down too well. We beat Walsall in the Cup, and we had 2 great wins, in fairness, didn't we? Villa and Spurs, both times coming from behind. And then we went and lost to Man United, lost to Arsenal, and, of course, we lost to Blackburn. And I'm not one of these. The people were saying, well, we lost 4-2 to Arsenal earlier in the season, so it's an improvement. But it was the performance against United and Arsenal that would let us down again.
I'd say the second half performance against Man United, because first half I thought we played pretty well, to be honest, and we could have and should have been ahead in that game. We'd been pretty ruthless in taking our chances in the previous games against Spurs and Villa, but on that one, the Man U, we didn't take the chances. And you go 1-2 up against Man United at Old Trafford. You don't know how their fans will react. We might still have not won it, but I thought we showed enough in the game to show that we were a threat. It was just difficult. The thing that's annoying me at the moment, and a couple of people have said it, I think Brendan came out and said it, and one of the players said it, is that when we go behind, we don't really look, or not necessarily go behind, because we came from behind against Spurs, we came from behind against Villa. But when the momentum of the game changes, the both of those games we went behind, but we were in the game. The Villa, we were in the game. It was end to end. They managed to score first. When the momentum of the game shifts and we're pegged in a bit, we don't seem to be able to turn that at the moment. And that old thing of foxes never quit, seems to have disappeared. And I think that's probably the thing that most fans miss. In the past, even when we had, during those times, we didn't win every game, did we? But we knew that we were in every game, and even if we were 1 or 2 down, we came back enough times because the spirit was there. And I think that's what I miss more than anything. The spirit of this team seems to have faded.
They say dogs end up looking like their owners, and like you say, players seem to end up playing like the manager.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Mike Davis and David Byrne, are you too pissed? Because at the moment you're typing in the chat is bloody awful, I tell you. I've got shirts and socks. Apparently we should be lumberjacks because of the socks we're wearing. I don't know what's going on. You've had too much to drink, too much of the falling down water, guys. But I tell you what, for me is we don't take advantage when we're on top. All right, David Gale was man of the match for me.
He always is against us. Always is, sadly.
Yes.
Again, we did against Spurs and we did against Villa. We had a really good patch against Villa and we came through and we scored the goals. The fact that we've scored, I think we set a Premier League record in those 2 games, the Spurs and the Villa game, for the first team who have ever in Premier League history to have gone a goal down and then gone on to score 3 goals in the first half. I know it's a bit of a niche record, but we hold that one.
With the straws grabbing at.
Exactly. So I think that's probably why it's more frustrating. We didn't lay a glove on Arsenal, to be fair. We huffed and puffed a bit in the second half again when he made some changes, but we didn't have any shots on target, did we? Which in a Premier League game is absolutely shocking.
One shot we had, it was pathetic.
Yeah, but none on target.
Sorry, none on target.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
that, to be honest with you, if you can't get 1, you should be getting 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's
just on target.
Apparently, Scott was telling me in the Arsenal game, our XG was something like 0.01, the lowest in Premier League this season.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I don't understand XG, but it doesn't surprise me. But looking at that, we're in a relegation battle, definitely, aren't we?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I think that was a big win for Villa at the weekend. That's probably just taken them out. But 12th down, I mean, you've got 6 points there. I mean, you know how quickly things can change.
Yeah.
A couple of wins, anybody's capable of stringing together. So Palace down, we're all in it together. You know, it's a massive game because if we win it, you start seeing a little bit of a gap, and it, you know, and Southampton start looking doomed.
I did say on the Southampton channel there hasn't been a gap really this season, has there?
No.
You know, Wolves who are down and out are now, well, they're not out of it, you know, but they're a hell of a lot better off. Leeds, who were at the other end at one point, have slowly been drawn back into it. Same with Bournemouth as well. But there's not been that huge gap. That huge gap is, like you say, you know, Palace and upwards, or Villa and upwards, sorry. That's where the gap's appearing. I'm just looking at the games that are coming up. I mean, Palace and Villa are playing each other. Forest are playing Everton. Forest could actually do us a favour there. Can't believe that I want Forest to win. But we've obviously got Southampton. Wolves are playing Spurs. Yeah, you never know, do you? Let's be honest. West Ham have got Brighton. Leeds have got Chelsea. That's Everton, Forest. Bournemouth have got Arsenal. And obviously Southampton have got us. This is when I'm looking at this thing and say, all right, we can't presume that it is we're going to beat them because it's Southampton because of the bottom. We know that's you know, we not Leicester this season. But this is the ideal opportunity because if the results go our way, we can put that little bit of a gap together, can't we?
Yeah, we can. I think we're in a run of games where we've got to start picking up points, and you know you do start saying that, you know, draws are no good, but you've only got to look at Palace there. Without those 4 draws out the last 5, you know, they'd be much further down and right in it as well. But they keep managing to get points. I've kept an eye on Palace for a few weeks now, and I'm not convinced that they won't be right in it come the end of the season. But it just changes. Yeah, I mean, it just changes so much weekly. You know, there's so many teams involved, and that inevitably, you know, every week you're going to get 2 or 3 of them playing each other. So it does come, you know, with pressure, and you know, and this is when you roll your sleeves up and you see what your team's made of.
And we've been quite lucky because when we have lost, teams below us have lost as well. The only problem is that when we've won, they seem to win as well. And these, like I say, these weekends, and we're playing late, so we're probably going to know quite a few of the results before we kick off. But to me, this is an important weekend. Have I spelled something wrong? Yeah, I'm drunk now. I can't spell either. Thank you, Henry. I put, because he's asking us how many points we're going to get for the next 5 games, and I said, remind me of the games, and I put it TYHE. I am pissed. I'm just going to be honest. But okay, let's have just a quick look at the form. And the tables. Like I say, 14th we are, 20th are Southampton. They've won 2 of the last 6, so have we. But on home form, Southampton are bottom. On away form, we are actually 9th.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, let's take advantage of this, guys.
Yeah, I think what we are seeing is, which is worrying for next season, is how important Maddison is to this team. Because, you know, they were playing the same kind of balls against Blackburn into the midfielders that they play into Maddison. Maddison is on the half turn, so therefore goes forward. The same balls being played into the likes of Dewsbury Hall or Samari or whatever are just invariably played straight back to the person who played it in the first place. We don't go forward. Whereas with Maddison, we do. He's on the half turn. We're away and we're into the attack. He is so vital that we keep him fit, keep him on the pitch for the next half a dozen games at least. You know, if I was Southampton, I'd be trying to dead leg him in the first 10 minutes and get him off the pitch, because he's that important to us.
Yes, I agree. Nate's just said these are, and I'm just putting these up for people to look at. I'm not going to go through these, but he said in the next 5 games, Southampton, Chelsea, Brentford, Palace, Villa. For me, I think we can get 3 points against Southampton. I think if we're on our game, there's no reason where we can't beat Chelsea.
Yep.
I think the hardest game for us in those 5 are Brentford.
Yep.
Palace, I think we can beat them, like you say, depending, they're not favourite. Villa, I mean, I'd be looking at that and going, I want 3, 6, 8 points possibly.
Yeah, I think you should be looking at that and saying that you could get that, and that puts you early to mid 30s in the table that you should be. You should be looking to be safe by then, I think. Yes,
yeah. Now let's just have a look, and it is worrying. And I'm just going to bring up some sort of like the top goal scorer, top assists, and it is worrying that we are relying. Are we becoming a one-man team here? James Maddison, top goal scorer. James Maddison, top assists. Kelechi, second with assists. Harvey Barnes, second with the goals. What did you think of Harvey Barnes the other night?
I thought, to be fair, Harvey Barnes played like Harvey Barnes, which was disappointing.
I didn't know whether you were going to change your mind about him ever.
No, he's just so frustrating because he doesn't have a footballing brain, and that's the biggest thing. You look at it sometimes and you think, right, okay, we're breaking away. You should be thinking already where your movement is going to be, but he doesn't. And all of a sudden, you think, they need an out ball down the left, and he's decided to drift in and have a chat with somebody or whatever. He's probably the most frustrating player I've seen down here, because he's clearly, when he's on his game, he's a danger, and he did it, and he got the goal for Kelechi when he went past the guy.
Yes, he did. It was a lovely ball in.
But he's just so frustrating that there is so much more there, and I think Tete has been really disappointing on the other side since that first game against Villa. I don't think we necessarily get the ball to him quickly enough, and we haven't had enough men up in support. He'll be a very good player, I think, in a team that wants to attack, because you've got runners off the ball that take players away from him, and then he can drift in and cut in, and that's why he was so effective against Villa. In the last few games, he's been isolated out there, and we're not seeing the best of him. But when he was playing really well in that Villa game, you could see it lifted Barnes as well, because there wasn't the sort of emphasis on him.
With passes, Wout Faes is the top there out of the two teams. Tielemans second, tackles Castagna, and Tielemans is third. And there's 2 players there that are the top of most of or certainly in the top 3 for most of these stats. And these are the main. There's loads more, but these are the main ones that could probably both be leaving in the summer.
Yeah, I think we're looking at a full overhaul of that midfield, to be honest. As I say, and it's whether the club trust Brendan to oversee that.
Yes, yeah. Somebody now, this is going to be very interesting because where's it gone? Nate said, do you think Tete would be better for us playing centrally if Madders is out? And this is something that when we did the team, when you were off on your jolly holidays and Brad was standing in for you, he picked the team to play Blackburn, and he actually put Tete in the middle. Now, Tete, his main position is right midfield, but he can also play left and central. That's why he's the sort of Brendan Rodgers sort of player that can play in 2 or 3 different positions. I'd like to see him given a go, and then maybe either Castagna or Ricardo on that right wing, with the other one sort of playing right back. What do you think about Tete in the middle?
Potentially, I'm not sure sometimes with wingers like that how, because again, wingers like that, they like the ball to receive the ball when they're facing, the pitch that they're going to go into. If you're playing in the 10, you'll very often have your back to goal, and that's why Madders does it so well, because he's on the half turn. I'm not sure Tete has enough about him to play with his back to goal and be on the half turn. I could see him sort of playing the ball back the same way as the others do. I think he's a better player when he's facing the goal than with his back to goal. What I did see, it was brief because there seemed to be substitutions all over the place going on against Blackburn. But for a brief period of time, Kelechi came and played that role. And I would be more tempted to play Kelechi in that, because I think he didn't have a very good game against Man United. Let's say, as Nate's saying there, he didn't have a good game of holding the ball up, but he can turn quickly. He's the closest one, I think, to Madders in terms of wanting to get the ball and turn quickly and release players. Played a lovely through ball for Tete's goal against Villa, and he's got quite a few assists, and Iheanacho as well. So I would think of the two, Iheanacho would probably be more suited to it.
Do you think we're expecting too much from Tete? I mean, Christian's come in. Let's start. Faze, when he first of all came in, like he'd been here ages. Christensen came in and hit the ground running. Sutar has to a point as well. He's Brazilian. We've never had a Brazilian before. He's the Mahrez replacement, as they all are. I mean, are we just expecting too much too soon from him? Is it going to be another Genghis Under?
Well, I mean, it's funny because I said to Scott, he came in and we thought we'd found the new Mahrez when actually we'd found the new Rashid Gazelle. I think he'll be better when we have more possession and we're playing higher up the pitch, to be honest. Or we're moving the ball quickly. He gets in good positions. He finds himself free, but we're not moving the ball quickly enough to him. So by the time that it is getting to him, he's being doubled up on. So I don't think we're helping see the best of him, to be honest. And he's another of these players who looks like he plays on confidence. Wingers are very often confidence players. You'll see them have runs in the team. So Mahrez was out for a long time, and then he came back and had a great run in the team. Grealish is doing the same this season. They're having good runs in the team, and they play like that. When the confidence is up, they'll play well. So I'm not sure whether Southampton is going to be the right game for him. I think if Brendan has a mindset that we're going to be on the front foot, then I would go with him. But I'm not sure. I think that Brendan might be wanting to make sure that we are in the game and then try and win it.
I thought you were going to say then if Brendan has a mind. We should have signed Lookman. We know Jerry. Yeah. Again, he is the one that got away. A bit like big Stan Collymore. And talking of Stan Collymore, of course, his chat is still available, Leicester Till I Die TV. Go and check it out. Very honest. Some interesting comments about Mr. Peter Taylor in that chat. So it's well worth checking out until his battery ran out. One of the things I wanted to ask here, I'm just looking for the comment. There we go. Baybrook to start, says Mike. Is this in a relegation battle? Is it the best time to be blooding youngsters?
Well, particularly when he's got an ACL, I would say
him,
no.
Is it? Right.
Yeah,
it is him.
Yeah.
Right.
No, we've got two of our best youngsters, Braybrook and Will Alves, have both got ACL.
Alves and yes, Alves I knew. Yes.
So no, sadly, I think he's a great talent. I mean, the club clearly do as well. The week after he got his ACL, they gave him a new contract, so there's clearly there's high hopes for him.
Yes.
But so no, not this week.
Yeah. Well, Mike comes back with the the classic bugger. I mean those two. I think we're going to see next season them coming through. To be honest with you, right now. let's have a look at score predictions. Again, as always, I'm very late in requesting these because we have the midweek game just completely threw my schedule out. And then I did Paul Ross yesterday. It was a pre-record. And we've done a new Formula. If anybody's into Formula One, by the way, we do now have a new Formula One show on the channel. And we're doing a watch along for the Formula One, fingers crossed, this Sunday.
Will you be wearing a checkered flag shirt for that one, Chris?
I've got a blue and white. I haven't got a black and white one, unfortunately. But yes, it would be. If you've got a spare one, send it to me.
I'm not sure it'd fit, mate.
Probably wouldn't actually. No, I need sort of 3 sizes more than I actually wear. But these are the one. Ian Wilson says still to get back to me. Brad and myself, believe it or not, have actually agreed that we think it's going to be 3-1 to Leicester. You've gone for a more conservative 2-0. Mm-hmm. I'm worried that we are back to that. I can see us conceding, especially against James Ward-Prowse, if he's on. And Ian Marshall's gone for 2-1 to Leicester. It's not often he goes for 2-1. It doesn't often he goes for a Leicester win, to be honest with you. And Steve Lynett, he's gone 2-0 to Southampton. In fairness, he is doing the old devil's advocate thing. Mike is on defence. He's gone for 1-1. And Jerry has... I love that. Jerry has gone 1-3. But he's agreed with us. Sensible man, that Jerry. I've always said I like Jerry. I asked this again a lot as well. Would you take a draw? I wouldn't. I normally say, if it was an Arsenal or a Man United, even against Spurs, I'd say yes, I was prepared to take a draw, but not for this. I don't think we can afford to draw.
I would usually be with you, but as I just said. When you look at Palace, those draws, at the end of it, those points picked up here and there may be the points that get us safer, sooner rather than later, particularly if the other teams around us are not making ground on us. So, 90% no, I wouldn't want it, but, it wouldn't be a horrific result, I wouldn't have thought.
No, I mean... Like I say, normally I would, but I just think with the game, the way the other games are going, and you've got to say that there may be a couple of upsets in those games, that we've got to win this. We really, really have, as Jerry says there. David's gone. He's agreed with you. He's gone 2-0 to Leicester.
Good man, David.
Now then, do you remember a bit of Earth, Wind and Fire there for you folks? A while ago, we used to have a bit of a quiz at the end of these shows, didn't we?
Well, we did, mate. We did. Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Excellent.
I thought I would bring the quiz back, but with a bit of a twist. It's not just going to be a simple who won this or who scored this goal. It's easier than that for a man of your intense knowledge. You may want to put your glasses on for this.
Yeah.
But foot in both camps.
All right. Okay.
So I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you the player because obviously I'd give it away. But I'm going to show you his playing career history.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't include loans or anything like that, because if they loaned out, they're still at the parent club.
Yeah.
But they have played for both Southampton and Leicester in their time.
Right.
Now then, can you tell who this is?
Leighton Orient.
I was going to put the number of games that they've played, but I don't think that really helps you at all. It's more sort of the length of time, I think.
My gut instinct there would be Dennis Rofe.
Okay. Oh, you go with your gut.
Yeah, I think I will.
Wish I had a drum roll. Very well done, sir.
Thanks, Chris.
How the hell do you get these things? I I thought this might be a bit too. This might just test him a little bit. But no, you know. Right, that's next week. He's going to get on.
Cheers, mate.
So I just thought a bit of fun there.
Yeah, no.
But well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Mike Wentworth. I'll give him the benefit that he was typing it as you said it, but it did actually come up after you said it. Right. Are you? Let's pick a team, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll do it straight after
Hello,
this.
Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Right, here we go. And I play that because it gives me a chance to look like I know what I'm doing and have it all ready. What sort of formation do you think he's gonna go for?
I think, to be honest, it's probably that one. Well, what's he going to go for?
I've got some different 4-3-3.
What's he going to go? Let me think. He's going to go
4-3-2-1.
I think he'll go 4-2-3-1.
I think that's one I've not got. 4.
Well, I mean, if you switch,
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, let's go with that.
You're going to go with that, right? And in fairness, of course, it all depends who's fit. So yeah. I'll leave you to sort of decide which way you want to go with that. I'm just getting the teams up here so I can get the spellings right when it comes to the strikers. Are we going to start with Mr. Ward in goal? Are we bringing him back?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I can't see him not playing on that one.
Right. Where are we? There we go. Okay. Right. A left back, sir.
Christensen.
Right, let's just have a look and find him. He's never the easiest person to. Oh, we go. There we go. He's there. Okay. Now the two centre backs. I mean, are we talking about what we sort of, the normal sort of Faze and Suter?
Yeah,
I'd be Marty, and can I say I'm never having you back on this channel again?
Okay, fair enough. Vestergaard.
Look, actually, before you go on that, did you read?
I did.
don't know if you read in the Mercury his story, and it beggars belief that a manager that follows a player for 18 months, nearly signs him once, eventually does sign him, and then leaves him out in the cold. I think Vestergaard has got damn good reason to be peed off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting saying that it was mirrored what happened at Liverpool with Daniel Agger.
Yes, that was interesting. Yes,
exactly the same. 1 minute he was flavour of the month, next minute out in the cold with no real reason given, and the fact that it helped Vestergaard realise that it wasn't him, it was the manager. Yeah,
and let's be honest, we've seen it with. I mean, we had Mellor in earlier, Watford fan. It was nice to see him back. He's not been back for a long time. Apparently, Hamza Chowdhury is he wants to keep him. He's doing brilliantly at Watford, so well done to him. I don't think he'd be coming back to us, but after the praise against in that Liverpool game when he played in defence and he was, we never saw him again after all the praise that he gave him. Mendy is the sort of midfield player I like. He's my favourite type of defensive midfielder. Dropped him, so it's something we shouldn't be surprised of, is it? Really, but
no, I think Hamza would have been useful against Blackburn. I think if you're looking at a squad, in horses for courses, certain games, I think he would have been ideal for that. But the fact that Mendy didn't get on, until so late, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, it's another matter. So Super in face, yeah.
Now then, right back.
I'm going to bring Ricky P back for this.
Okay.
I think he's looked pretty sharp, to be honest, in the bits I've seen. So I think I'm still toying. This team is formulating as we go. I've got all of this team sorted apart from one position, and I'm still in three minds.
Less than Brendan, then.
Yeah.
I mean, fairness to Castagna, he has struggled, hasn't he, in a few games this season, and maybe a break will do him good.
Potentially. Let's see, Chris. Let's see how this team develops.
Unless you're going to move him further upfield, of course. Right, the left. You probably are now after I've said that. The left centre defensive midfielder.
I think I'm going to stick with Dewsbury Hall. Again, a very frustrating player at the moment. No one can knock his work rate.
No.
What you can knock is his decision making, which isn't always the best, to be honest. He tends to run with the ball too much. When he gets the ball deep and he's on the same wavelength as Barnes, and he always seems to turn left towards Barnes, and he can hit balls in behind the fullback for Barnes. When they're on the same wavelength, it's a really powerful combination.
Yes.
But when that isn't working, then more is asked of Dewsbury Hall, more carrying of the ball. And for me, he just hangs on to it a little bit too much. And when he's running with it, invariably he'll have a bad touch and overrun it, and he'll be caught out of position. So, but I'm going to put him in there just for work rate at the moment on this one.
No, fair point. It's your team. On the other side.
Yeah, Mendy for me.
Mendy.
I really like Mendy. And
I do. And I think it's going to be a shame that the chances are he's going to leave us. Because to me, like you say, better than Ndidi at the moment, and better than Samari.
Yeah, I thought he'd pulled out another super strike as well against Blackburn.
Yes, he did let it go on, didn't he?
He did.
But yeah, I agree. I agree, and I think the fact that we're going to lose him probably in the summer as well is criminal. But there we go. Right, centre attacking midfield.
Mr. Maddison.
Yeah, I didn't see the actual press conference. Is he fit? Is he looking like he's going to come back?
Well, by all accounts, it was illness that kept him out of the last game, not his fitness test. And I think he was saving him for this one.
Right. Okay. You never know with Brendan, though, do you? No. But yeah, no, I mean, we can't rely on one player because what we're going to do when he's gone. But he does make a huge difference. And in that central role, he's so much more dangerous.
Yeah.
Apparently, if this game is 0-0 at full time, we're going to have a free kickoff. It's going to be Ward-Prowse at one end and Madison at the other. Guys, I will come to you. I can see there's a lot of messages. I will come to your teams afterwards. Okay, left midfield. I don't.
I'm going to have to go with Harvey, I think.
Really? Okay.
I think. I mean, the problem is he is frustrating, but he is a threat as well when he's on his game.
Yes.
So.
I mean, he doesn't always have the decision at the end of it, but when he gets it right, like for I mean, it was perfect for Kelechi the other night. And the thing as well is that he runs at a player. He can draw a foul that can get you a penalty.
Yeah, I think his problem is, and it's the same as Dewsbury Hall, that they're not decisive in their decision making. He'll run without an idea of what he wants to do, and invariably he'll just end up running down a blind alley or giving a silly pass away.
I mean, I tend to say, is that down to age? But neither of them are youngsters anymore.
No, not at all. And I think what Barnes is looking for. Any manager who watches Barnes play, he wants to play a 1-2 off the striker. And that's, if I was any defensive coach, you'd just be putting someone in front of your main striker because that's what he wants to do. And then that puts the emphasis on Barnes to have to try and beat a man.
Yes. Right midfield.
I really am in three minds on this, because we could go with Tete, but you're not going to get much defensive work out of him. I could easily go for Dennis Pratt. I think he's played well over there when he's played on the right. But I am going to put Castagna in there.
Wow.
I think Castagna is more of a wing back than a full back, to be honest. I think he can get caught out defensively with balls over in the back, but he will be able to double up and help out defensively. So that becomes more of a three across the middle of the defence, which allows Barnes, Maddison, and Kelechi to stay forward. But he does look to make very clever and good runs, as he does as an overlapping fullback. I think he'll be able to do the same and have more of a threat. And I think this is one of those games where you need to stay in the game and keep as tight as you can, and then maybe Tete for the last 20 minutes or so. So it may seem a little bit defensively, but as Ricky P is just coming back, I think it makes us a little bit more solid for an away game, but still gives us the opportunity to get forward at pace if we can.
We forget how good Ricky P was in his, his prime. Not in his prime, he's not out of his prime, but you know what I mean? When he was fully fit, he was one of the top, defenders in Europe, wasn't he?
And I think having Tim in front of him, he will feel more confident if the opportunity goes to go forward, because he'll know Castagna is more likely to drop in behind him than Tete.
I was going to say that is very much because I mean I can see where you've gone with that. The funny thing is I may have gone the other way round. I may have gone Castagna at the back and Ricky P up front, because he's got a shot in him, Ricky P, hasn't he? But like you say, they are so interchangeable. And I guess because you said his name a few minutes ago, it's the Nacho man up front. Yeah.
I mean, as I say, really disappointed in him at Man United, particularly in the second half. And again, he is someone who once he's facing the play is very dangerous, I think. So if we can turn the ball over and feed him quickly, I think he's always looking to get a shot off. Sometimes, when he shouldn't, but he's got a few assists this season already as well, and he looks the most consistently dangerous striker that we've got at the moment.
Oh, definitely. I think that's a good lineup, to be honest with you. I'm got to be honest with you, I thought you might have sneaked Tielemans in there.
Well, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks now, so.
Oh, of course, he's another one. Sorry, yes.
So I've got Tielemans one side, Braybrook the other.
Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I did say the other day, if I'm being honest, I'm not sorry that he's out. I'm sorry he's injured. I don't want him to be injured, but I only ever wish that on Fofana. But I am, I would be unhappy if we never saw him play in a Leicester shirt again.
I got to disagree with you on that. I don't think Tielemans, for me, puts the work in, and he puts his foot in still. He didn't have to hobble back on the pitch the other day because we had no subs left, but he did because he didn't want to let his teammates down. I think as much as it's disappointing that he sees his future elsewhere, and he clearly does, and I think he's clearly talented enough to do that, I don't think he's let anybody down when he's had the odd not so good game, but he does put his foot in. I like Tielemans, and I think he's done well for a player who's clearly probably disappointed that he didn't get a move in January. Still will put in the work rate, and it means a lot to him. You see it, and again, sometimes you don't see it if you're seeing the games on TV, that he does put a lot of work into it, and he doesn't mind putting his foot in. And so I think I like Tielemans, to be honest, and it's just a shame that we're inevitably going to lose him.
With me, for me, I just think he's tainted his time here. I'll always love him for that goal that he scored, of course, in the FA Cup final. But I do tend to think we forget with the FA Cup final that had it not been for Chilwell's toenail, that it would have gone to extra time. I just think he could have treated the club a lot better.
I don't know what by signing another year or.
Oh, so doing a Maguire and signing another contract that says, okay, if somebody comes in at 20 million, I can speak to them. If somebody comes in who's playing in Europe, I can speak to them, to qualify for Europe, European. So there's all these things that he could have done that meant we could have got some money. We can't afford to lose 40 million. We did that
but on the flip side, we don't know that hasn't happened, but the club have set a ridiculous fee. I mean, by all accounts, they were still wanting more than 25 mil in January, when clubs were sniffing round, that they were looking to get the maximum they could. So at the end of it, we don't know. I think if you're just looking at his demeanour on the pitch, I think the shirt still means a lot to him, to be honest.
Well, I think he's got to be very, very careful because, like I say, the one thing that that has come to mind with him, and to be honest with you, Slimani, that was our fault that we lost the money because I don't think he got a fair chance, to be honest with you. But I just keep reminding me of Dennis Wise. The club is in this financial peril, and Tielemans doesn't appear to do something that he could do. And I can't see the club being that stupid that they're going to ask 25, 30 million in this buyout clause, but get nothing for him if he doesn't sign it, or agree to 20 million, and he's worth 20 million of anybody's money when he's on song. I just think he could do more, to be honest with you.
To be honest, Chris, I can't believe that you've just used Dennis Wise and Tielemans in the same argument.
They both ripped the club off for money.
Oh, come on! I mean, Wise is a little shit who broke the jaw of one of his teammates.
I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't.
And then tried to take us to court.
Exactly.
Tielemans is just protecting his own interests and trying to get a move to a bigger club. I mean, Tielemans could break his leg tomorrow and his career's over. I don't think you can overly blame them, particularly when we don't know what's gone on in the background.
No, and that's fair enough, and that's a fair point because we didn't do that during the summer. Had we known that Brendan couldn't go and buy anybody, I'm sure, and I've said I'll put my hand up and say there's no way I would have been as anti, Brendan as I was during the summer, but nobody knew, and maybe a club that was, used to be quite good at talking to its supporters, maybe is losing that knack at the moment.
Yeah.
I would never compare Dennis Wise as a player with Tielemans. No, but you get where I'm coming from.
I do. Yeah.
But you're quite right. He was a totally and utter little shit. And if I could have afforded more, I would have voted more for him to do more trials in the jungle. He has been putting. Like I say, I will miss Yuri, and I love him for what he did for us. Totally agree. But hey, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, as you say. Doug, typical Scouser, comes in late. How's he doing, Doug? Who's tonight, this morning, whenever it was, has been meeting some of the stars. He's met. Oh, let me just get. Was it Dennis Taylor, Stephen Hendry, and I'm not sure who the other snooker player was. But did you play? Did you have a frame with them, Doug, or were you just at an exhibition and you got your picture with them? He mixes with the stars, Doug, doesn't he? He mixes with the stars.
Just a quick one, Chris, and I know you've probably done this before, but this is my first show back since then. Obviously, my heartfelt best wishes and sadness go out to the family and friends of Stephen Featley, who lost his battle with liver cancer, the Arsenal fan, in the past few days. And obviously, he was a really nice guy, and I know you've worked with him a few times, had him on the channel, and So I just wanted to say my own tribute and heartfelt best wishes to his friends and family.
Agree. Well said, sir. Well said. And I tell you what, we call some of the players, but the fact that Martinelli dedicated the goal to him, I hope he gets to see that from wherever he is now.
Yeah.
And whether you believe in that or not, it is up to your own individual. I hope he did get to see that in some form.
And the work, and great credit to Miss Melina who put a lot of work in to try and get that make that happen.
Yes, indeed. No, well said, sir. Well said. Nice to have you back.
Cheers, mate. Nice to be back.
We will do something again soon. I'm sure we need to do a quiz. We need to do a quiz. Did you do the last Room 101?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I think I put Dennis Wise in there, didn't I? You
did. You did. Quite right as well, despite what I said earlier. But we'll get something going, definitely. Thank you very much, Craig. All the best
welcome.
to you and your family. Have a good weekend.
Cheers, mate.
Formula One's back.
Yeah.
And let's hope for pole position for Leicester at the weekend.
See what you did there, Chris. Well done, mate. Very good.
Yes. Not that good, was it? No. But, all the best, mate.
Right. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, everyone. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Thanks to Craig there, and nice words for Stephen. So we are going to be back tomorrow night with the prediction show at 9:00. Myself and Steve Lynex, of course, and also Brad. Steve Lynex has had another good week, for God's sake. Hey, what's coming up?
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Indeed. So tomorrow night, 9:00, the prediction show. 4:30 or 5:00 on Saturday. Let me just have a look. I think 5:00 is a late kickoff. We're on Sky. Southampton are hosting Leicester. Are we going to see another 9-0? I very much doubt it. And then from 12 o'clock on Sunday, it's the watch along for the Formula One. Take care. If you've been watching Leicester Till I Die TV, Twitch or YouTube, cheers, Craig. Twitch or YouTube, thank you so very much. And if you have been listening on your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending me your ears. You can have them back now. And of course, as I always say, right at the end, it's over to Arnie.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.